Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session of discussion on focus on what matters. It is by Darius Foru. Last week, Rumit had talked about not about changing our mindset and not our surroundings. So this is the ninth letter that we are going to take up today. I'll be completing the ninth and tenth letter. Make it as brief as possible. So this ninth letter is basically on observing your mind. Um, when we are talking about the mind, what I would like you all to do is, I just want you to, I mean, this is a little bit interactive in the sense that I want you to go through this before we continue with the session. I would like you to just close your eyes, not your mind, close your eyes for just a few seconds, for about 10 seconds. Just close your eyes for 10 seconds and watch your thoughts that keep coming up, that keep popping up when you close your eyes. Just keep that in mind. What are the things that are popping up when you close your eyes for a little while? Okay. So now you have closed your eyes, some things are coming up in your mind. Now, what are those thoughts that are there in your mind? You need to label them. Like, what is that thought? Is it something that you are planning on? Or is it something that's worrying you, some worrying thoughts? Or is it that suddenly you remembered something? What is it that is coming up in your mind? Keep track of that. That particular thought. What is that thought? You don't have to reveal it, but you just need to give it a label, right? Now, what you do is take in a deep breath, release, exhale, again, inhale, exhale, concentrate on your breath, inhale, now exhale, okay. Now that you have been focusing on your breath, think about that initial thought that came to your mind. You had labeled it, right? You had labeled it. You're listening to that inner voice. What is that inner voice? How are you responding or reacting to that particular thought you had? You know, that thought that popped up in your mind and which you labeled. Are you reacting to it or are you responding to it? Can you just put it in the chat? What is it, whether you have responded or whether you have reacted to it? You have had this thought, you have labeled it, you have taken in a few deep breath, and then you're thinking of that thought again. Are you feeling a bit more objective when since you have taken your breath, you are focused on your breath and not on that thought? Do you find a difference in the way you are responding to that thought? Just give me a thumbs up or whatever, so that I know whether you are responding to this message? Yeah. So you are seeing that there is a gap, isn't it? Because some things have come to your mind and you're thinking about it and you're not immediately taking an action. You have started focusing on your breath and then you are reacting in a positive or in a negative manner, whatever it is. You are reacting only after you have focused on your breath. Now, what is the kind of feeling that you're having in you when these thoughts initially arose in your mind? We're talking about that particular initial thought that came into your mind, which you labeled. What is that sensation that you got in your body? Did you start clenching your jaws, or did your heart beat faster, or did your mind go into a tizzy, you know, in a state of confusion? Did you notice? You need to notice what's happening to your body when these thoughts arise. Okay, how many of you are, uh, you know, feeling quite calm and collected, because of obviously we are doing this, we are having the session in the morning. How many of you are feeling calm? Or how many of you are just waiting for the session to get over so that you can carry on with your day's work? Yeah, it is true, Shersi, because we'll be watching the time also, isn't it? Because we have a limited time when we are having the session. So all these thoughts keep racing in our mind, right? So in today's topic, like when we are talking about observing our mind, you're feeling calm. Okay, Rohit is feeling calm. So, we are observing our mind. So, basically, what we are doing is we are trying to use introspection. We are trying to look inwards into our mind. Because many times, not many times, it's actually all the time, you wonder, what are you, if I ask you a question, what are you using your mind for? What do you do with your mind? What do you do? We are always thinking, isn't it? Constantly, there is some thought or the other that just keeps popping up. Irrespective of whether you want to control it or not, these thoughts just keep popping up. Like when you're meditating, a lot of thoughts come to your mind, and then they say, okay, let that thought flow. Just ignore it. It's easy to say to ignore, but you can't. It'll come back. The moment you say ignore, you will bring it back to your mind. Sometimes what happens, you are lost in thought, right? You wake up in the morning and you're just wondering, okay, today what do I do? There's no focus. And there are certain thoughts that come to your mind, obviously, uh, you know, over situations which you have absolutely no control over. And you are unnecessarily worrying. Like you say, okay, what if the session becomes late? Then, my breakfast, I'll be preparing it pretty late, and everybody in the family will be cursing me. Why is she attending the session now? Or why is he attending the session when there are better things to do on a Sunday, right? Sometimes you might just think, okay, what about my presentation? Monday mornings, I've got to get this done. I just hate doing it, but I have to do it. What if I'm not able to do a good job, right? So, all these, many of the times, we're worrying about things which may really not happen. That's the beauty of this whole thing. You worry over things that will not take place. And after a period of time, you'll say, oh, nothing happened. I don't know. I just wasted my time worrying. So, most of the time, we waste our time frittering our time away, worrying over things which will not take place, or over things which we have absolutely no control over. So what we need to do is we need to stop worrying and we need to focus on the present and the moment. We need to do that. Yes, and we do a lot of imagination. We love imagining. So you will see, these are actually very unproductive ways in which we are using our mind. We use our mind in unproductive ways. We don't realize it. We're using it unproductively. So we need to make a better use of our mind. So this letter, it's actually, helping us to identify the unproductive ways in which we use our mind. Firstly, we lack focus. We don't have a presentation page, Raghavendra. I'm not presenting anything on screen. I'm just talking, so you have to focus. Your focus this time is on what I'm speaking because anything on screen can be distracting, according to me. So today we are just going to focus on what matters. So these unproductive ways, one is you lack focus, right? You get lost in thought when you're waking up, you just get lost in thought. Then you have this anxiety, you worry about things that you have absolutely no control over. You have no control over a future of a business. You have no control over, a certain control you do have over relationships, but not complete control. You don't know how things will take a turn. Then obviously the best part is you use your mind to daydream, which I do most of the time. Entertaining yourself with all kinds of fantasies. Okay, you want me to put on the video? Okay, so that's okay. Yeah. Okay, so you entertain yourself with all kinds of fantasies, and then another way of what you do with your mind is you think of things that haven't taken place, but then you imagine what if. And sometimes there are certain things that have taken place in your in your past, and you keep replaying that particular past, and you will say, okay, if I had done this way, things would have turned out better. If I had done it that way, it would have turned out better. You keep thinking about this, but it's absolutely no use because you can't bring your past back and redo your past. You don't have a time machine where you can sit there and put on, okay, on this date, let me go back, let me change the things and make it all okay so that the present is good. You can't do that. You just got to live with what has happened in the past, and you just got to move forward and do the best with what you can do today. So one of the practical methods that that is being suggested here by Marcus Aurelius is to do journaling, which of course at TBF we do. We do. In fact, Palak has talked about journaling, and we had a workshop on journaling also. So he says that any observation that you have, just journal it. Whatever thing comes to your mind, you don't need to have any particular format in which you're going to do this journaling. You just write what comes to your mind, what you feel, what you want to do, all those things that are coming into your mind. Yes, in Swadharma, we do journaling. So, all those things that come to your mind, you just put it on paper. You just put it on paper. When you put these things on paper, do it for 2 days. Whatever thought comes to your mind, and if that book is in front of you or that sheet of paper is in front of you, you put it on paper and you put it down. You will notice, because you're going to put down your emotions, your thoughts, your anything, you're putting it on paper. After a week or so, just go through what you have written. When you go through all those, when you scan or when you read through what you have written, you will find that there are certain things I could have avoided worrying about. This is so unimportant. Why was I wasting my time thinking about this? So you start filtering what you should not, what you don't need to think about because it's absolutely useless. It's not going to help you. So this is what you need to do. So this is going to help you. Actually, journaling does help you, right? Because you can put down everything that, because maybe an hour or two from now, or maybe in the evening, I won't remember what I was thinking of during the day. So if all those things are on paper, you know the amount of thinking that goes on, what all goes on in your mind, because your mind is never still. So we need to observe our mind, because otherwise you will just get lost. You will just get lost and you will not be productive. So, this is one way in which we can control our useless thoughts. And you need to actually take in lessons from what has happened from your experience and move forward. So there is no point in replaying your past event and keep on replaying it. It usually happens when something happens. You will find people talking about something. I wish it had happened. I wish. Okay, it has not happened. So why are you beating yourself about it? It's not keep on if you keep on talking about it, it's not going to bring back the good thing that you wanted to happen. That wouldn't happen. So you're wasting your time and energy on these useless thoughts. So this way, through journaling, you can observe your mind more, right? So there are many, here he talks about um, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. Elevate yourself through the. I can't read the whole thing. Yeah, you don't elevate. Yeah, you elevate yourself through the power of mind and don't degrade yourself, for the mind can be a friend and also the enemy of the self. Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Sher for putting that. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. So through journaling, you will be able to understand what your feelings are. Now here the author says that he is doing a lot of trading, and then he says that he wants to improve his skills as a stock trader. So he thinks about, okay, what happens when I make mistakes while trading? So he noticed that most of the time he would start doing this averaging down the moment. So he says, let's say you are a momentum trader, that's not a long term investor. You only want to buy stocks that go up. So when you buy a stock at 50, you buy it because you think it's going to keep going up. And you keep adding as it moves higher and higher. So what happens is you will never add to your position, like you're waiting for it. It says that a disciplined momentum trader never adds to their position at 49. That's averaging down. But then he would, as a this person, he would, the moment the stock price went down, he would keep adding, because he says that if I buy more at a lower price, my potential profit would be more. So that was a little bit of greed talking, for him. So then when he started journaling, then he realized that he was listening to a lot of unhelpful thoughts. And so he wanted to, using that trading strategy, he wanted to use a stoic principles to his trading strategy. So he noticed that, greed and need to be right at the moment should not be there. You need not always be right. So journaling about your thoughts is simple. There is, as I said before, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You just simply write down everything that pops up in your head. But the more you observe, the more you can identify, those spot those unhelpful behavior. So what you can do is, when you spot those unhelpful kind of thoughts that are coming up, you can try removing it, filter it out. So that makes you a more balanced person, right? So this is what this observing your mind is all about. So you observe your mind more, and the ultimate goal of observing your mind is to spot unhelpful behavior so you can stop doing those things. And instead, you can focus on the actions that will make you a more balanced person. So, when we're looking at this letter 9, this letter number 9, there are a few things, few key points that you can take out. One is, you know, in your daily life, just people just keep going through a lot of thinking about a lot of trivial things. So, this letter tells you that you choose your thoughts consciously, that choose what is more important. Ignore the noise. There are so many shallow thoughts that come up in your mind. You need to ignore it. You have to learn how to remove that noise, especially when it comes to comparison, social comparison, tasks which are not so important. Yeah, these are actually distraction thoughts that dilute your focus. So you need to ignore that noise. You need to refine your you know your the thoughts that are coming into your mind. So, and also, you don't need to do everything that everybody tells you. You think on your own. You control your thoughts, because when you want to feel happy and when you want to feel fulfilled, that comes about only when you yourself feel it. It's not when other people tell you that you are going to feel it. You have to feel it inside you, right? So once you are very clear about your values, then you can at least start enacting, you know, acting upon those thoughts that are coming into your mind. When you have certain thoughts that are coming into your mind which you want to put into action, and when you have filtered the noise, then you have more time in hand to focus on that particular thought which is going to be productive for you, which is going to have value, which is going to you know, add value to your life. And that is how you're going to be more self-confident. So it is like, you know, there is one line which says, it's like cleaning the lens of a camera. Only when the lens is clear can the picture of your life come into focus. So we need to keep filtering out unnecessary, unwanted thoughts, and keep and have clarity in mind. It's only then that you will know what you want to do with your life. So this is about your, you know, observing your mind. So first thing, you need to observe your mind. One suggestion that has been given is journaling. Now he talks, now we are going on to the second letter. So, you know, when you have clarity, now you have observed your mind and you have clarity as to what you want to do, right? Now, how do you know that, you know, that this is going to work for you? This particular clarity in what you're thinking of, you have already decided this is what is there in my mind, this is what I want to do. Now, the real test is, am I able to act on that particular thought every single day? Am I able to do it every single day? So we are now stepping from observing to doing, right? We are stepping from observing to doing. So anything that doesn't have a positive impact on our life is useless. It might just give you a quick high, and it may not have a positive impact on your overall life. So there is a lot of information around, you know, floating around, which you are always being bombarded with a lot of things. So how do you filter out that? You need to guard your mind. So the second letter, that is letter number 10, is not just observing the mind, is letter 9. Letter 10 is how to guard your mind. How do you get rid of those, you know, filter out those particular thing and you keep your mind guarded, protected? How do you do that? So you will notice that when you talk to people, they all have an opinion over anything, right? Even when we are in this meeting and when we are talking, there are people who do have something to say, because they say because out of experience, or it's just that they just want to say something. Okay, we just want to do some contribution, so, but ultimately at the end is that you need to listen to yourself. People might be giving you a lot of advice, solicited or unsolicited, that's beside the point. But you need to listen to yourself. You just don't grab at everything that people tell you and just act upon it, because you are you. What the way you do and the way you think and what you have, the goals you have in mind are different from what others have. So you need to listen more to yourself, right? So with this help of journaling, what happens? You are able to filter out the nonsense, right? And many times he talks about also another situation. He says, you can be a part of a group. Like here he talks about, he says, one of the best things I've done for my career is to retreat from the publishing world. So what he says is that, we are interacting with a lot he's interacting with a lot of people in the same, with this in the same profession, and everybody is mingling with each other, talking and, exchanging information and everything. So what happens is, being a part of the group will influence your thinking, no doubt. I'm sure you will agree with me on that. If you're part of a group, we tend to think, as the group, we tend to be with the group, and we think as, we get influenced by those thoughts, by what people are talking about in the group. So eventually, have you ever realized that everybody in this group, they are going to have the same kind of thought? Yeah, everybody is having the same thought and the same opinion. What about you? Sit back, stay back. What about your opinion? Do you have an opinion of your own? It's not like you're saying, oh, I think something like this because the other person is also, because my group says this, so I agree with that. Have you ever thought that of your opinion, what you feel, whether it's right or wrong is immaterial, but have you ever thought of thinking on your own? You need to actually rely on your observation. You need to rely on your judgment. This is what makes you unique. So this is why, the author here says, don't allow another person to form an opinion for you. Many times you're doing something, you will ask somebody, hey, can you just tell me whether I should do it this way? And then the person will say, yes, okay, do it. And then you'll do it. Come on, have an opinion on yourself. Think about yourself. What do you think? You take suggestions. This is what I say. You take in the suggestions. No harm in thinking about, in listening to what people are saying. But at the end of the day, the decision should be yours, and it should not be that once you take the decision and it doesn't happen, you point finger and say, I listened to this person and that's why it happened. Come on, that's not fair, is it? When you ask somebody for a suggestion, he has just given it to you, right? So, rely on your own observation, your own judgment, and don't allow people to form an opinion for you, not of you, to form an opinion for you. Do it on your own. This is why you should guard your mind, because mind is so pliable. It can absorb all this, and it can make you act in different ways. So you need to be very, very careful about how you are listening and what are the kind of things that you're listening to. See, many times there's one interesting topic he talked about. This, he's friends with somebody who is, into baseball or some game, and this friend of his doesn't just watch these matches. He knows everything about every player in that match, about the personal life of those people, and the family and the husband and the children and what they're doing and everything. So he says, what? use it is going to be for me if I know all about the personal life of these people? My idea is to just enjoy the match, not to know about all this. So you have these people who are talking about statistics and who are talking about, on TV you have all these kind of journalism that takes place. They have delved into the private lives of everybody. What is it going to help you? I mean, what are you going to get? Some uh, kind of, it's like a peep show kind of a scene. That's all. You're just looking into somebody else's life. Is that going to make a difference into your life? Is that having an effect on your life? You're wasting your time doing that. Yeah, media is definitely responsible for this. And they give it in 10 seconds, 15 seconds, those little snippets and those reels that are there. It's just to keep you going on to high. You want to see the next one and the next one and the one after that. So it's leaving you no time to think on your own. And here he says that he needs to have 15 minutes of uninterrupted thought. Yes, dopamine. You need to have some time for yourself. You need to just shut off yourself, isolate yourself, and you need to sit for at least 10 to 15 minutes with yourself, with your thought, with no interruption. Nobody talking to you. Your mobile is away, your everything. There's no sound, nothing. No music also. Just sit with your thought and then just see what happens. Everything slows down. The whole scene keeps slowing down and you are within yourself. It's like you're going inside of yourself, right? So you will also notice that when you consume information, it is going to impact your mood. Come what may. You'll say, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to just see this not going to affect me. It is affecting you. Your thoughts are, going to be affected by what's going on. You switch on the TV like my mom. Right now, she switched on the TV and she is watching, with a cup of tea and she's watching the TV. I said, what I mean? She said, look at that potholes on that road. They're showing all that. It has been not tarred, and these elections are on, and I don't think I'm going to vote for these guys. So, she's getting all hyper about the whole thing. So, this is what's happening. She's getting so, affected by this whole thing. And I keep telling mommy, just calm down, relax. You're not going to vote anyway because you say that I'm not going to vote. So, that's not going to affect you. You saw this. But unfortunately, this is what's being played on in the media. Hundreds of times this keeps replaying again and again to influence the person who is watching. So what you need to do is you need to consume only information which you feel will benefit you. And when you take a decision, the decision should be based on informed information. Everything it should be an informed decision. It should not be something that is based on your feeling, because sometimes there is this concept that he has mentioned over here called affect heuristic. AFFECT HEURISTIC, affect heuristic. So here it means that affect heuristic means you are your feelings are going to play a very important role in your action, in the choices that you're making. So it's like, sometimes you come across a situation where you have to take a decision and you find it difficult to decide, what should I do? What decision should I take? What should I do? Should I go here or should I go there? And you're not able to take a decision. So what happens? You go with your gut feeling. You're going with your gut feeling. So this gut feeling is your feeling. Now, if you are in a very, the mood is not so good, then what happens? Your decision will be based according to that. So your decision is going to be based according to your feelings. So like sometimes, if you are, it says here that if you are in a fearful mindset, your decisions will be, kind fearful. Suppose if you have a happy mindset, the decisions that you take will be on that positive note. So you need to be very careful about the kind of information that you are taking in, because you don't, at the end of the day, you don't want to take a decision that's going to make you feel low and down, isn't it? So this is why it's important to, when you consume information, you have to be very careful because it will impact your mood, right? So use your time in the best way possible. You know, we need to be very selective about how we spend our time. Sometimes when we are on the mobile and we say, okay, I'm just going to look at just this piece and then that's it. It doesn't happen. It will just go on and 30 minutes are gone in scrolling, doom scrolling. You do all this scrolling and then you will say, is it worth spending my time on this? I wasted all this time. I should have done a bit of journaling, which I was supposed to do. I didn't do that because I spent 30 minutes of my time doing, scrolling. So your goal, the main goal is to be conscious of the information that you allow in your brain, whether it is an article or whether it's a tweet or anything. Only consume things that have a positive impact on your life. Yes, scrolling is important, but if that scrolling is going to help you in your work, in what you want to do, if you want to create value, then that scrolling is fine. But if that scrolling is going to make you feel lousy and it's going to make you feel that, oh my God, I have cluttered my mind with garbage, I needn't have done this, then I feel that that's not the right thing. Of course, this is my opinion. You need not take it because you have to have your own opinion. Making no mistake is the biggest mistake. Yes, it is the biggest, because it's only when you make a mistake you will know where you need to improve, right? If you always do the right thing, you will never reach at a higher level because you feel that you have reached the peak. That is the thing, right? So yeah, so this topic, I think I've just completed it. So what you need to do is you need to observe your mind and you need to guard your mind by practicing discipline. And as a result, you will gain confidence, peace of mind, you will feel aligned. So this will slowly make you, go into that state of commitment. So letter 9, it's like a compass. Observe everything, right? And the 10th letter is telling you how to guard your mind, and it shows you a direction. So you have the compass and you need to get the right direction. So the path, you need to follow the right path. So use the compass, follow the right path, and then obviously your, what all you want to do, you will be able to get it done in life, right? So this is about these two letters. I hope my bhashan was okay. Yeah. So, yeah, one thing when we talk about guarding our mind is like, we need to be very careful about the influences that are coming in. We need to be very careful about uh, what all things we are going to absorb. We have to protect our inner space. That is why meditation, journaling, all this helps us. Learn how to filter, leave out negativity, yeah, especially gossip. There are a lot of gossip mongering that keeps going about, and people unnecessarily make comparisons about others. These things are there, so you need to be disciplined as to what you want to take in and what you don't want to. And if somebody tells you something negative, you don't need to respond also. Just keeping quiet is better sometimes, you know don't need to react. Just leave it, because silence is sometimes better. Because when you're silent, people will know that you haven't agreed to it. That's the best part. So you're not even saying anything out of your, something coming out of your mouth. And start reflecting on your day's activities, because that reflection will help you, you know, improve yourself, make you a better person tomorrow. And it's like, when you guard your mind, you can obviously remain more calm and collected, because nothing is going to affect you. It's like a, what you call it, like a soundproof room. You just take in only what you need and leave out the rest outside the door. Just have only that with you. Yeah. Okay, so I finished what I wanted to say. Anybody would like to say something more about this, you're welcome. So we can have a little bit of this. We still have some 15 minutes of talk left.